Not necessarily to segue, but one of the things I know we were going to talk about this morning is this daughter's documentary on Netflix. And I'm very interested when we talk with the formerly incarcerated people doing that kind of work, what you all think in terms of the media depiction of that experience and what it conveys to those of us out here, what it doesn't convey. Because, sir, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but when I watched this documentary, I mean, it almost suggests that, prisons aren't really a problem. Everybody who's in there is supposed to be in there. And here, when the sister says we wanted to create this daddy-daughter dance, the prison officials, she reports that they were happy to comply. Like, oh, we're always happy to help people, and it was just conveying this wild, from my humble point of view, inaccurate impression of prison. So I'm just curious, in terms of the work you do now, the incarceration you've already suffered and experienced, when you see these kinds of documentaries or popular TV films, whatever, do you have any particular thoughts about what you see being conveyed versus the real life experience?
Yeah. So since you bring that, because that's the paradox that I struggle with in my current role as a program coordinator for Rutgers Newark, the NJ STEP program initiative, rather. So with the current Pell access to Pell Grant money, right, from the federal government, there's an expectation from the Vera Institute. They did research on it, found that there would potentially be a proliferation of higher education and prison initiatives in every state of the United States. We're expecting to have at least one college in prison program in all 50 states, including Alaska, right? Good old Sarah Palin town. And that immediately got me to the point of saying this is the paradox, right? Because this is the problem. Because now I also recognize that there's data that shows that there's low enrollment rates across the nation in traditional college tracks. So we're backfilling something, right? Because at the end of the day, it's capitalism 101, and these universities are about getting their bread. There's a reason why tuition in New Jersey is damn near $25,000 a year for undergraduate students. You get into the graduate programs, over $45,000 a year. So what I'm trying to get at is that they have effectively the status quo sensationalized and also at least profit the idea that you legitimize prisons. So when I watched that documentary, that was my immediate impression, was that, damn it, they're legitimizing the existence of the very thing that brought those brothers into that place. They didn't get to the root causes, right? And then introducing these young babies into that space without a qualified clinical psychologist or other being available, right, to be able to help them process throughout the entire process, not just for a day. You're going to have to sit with these children now for weeks, months, years to follow up on how they have now been introduced to a carceral space. Like, they had to come in there, fall in love with daddy again, and then get ripped from his arms. And then if you notice, there was a scene in there where they shot the camera down at the shoes, the pants, and the belts of the men who were left inside the place where they danced. I immediately knew what happened there. They all got stripped down naked before they could go back to their cell. It's a requirement of every visit. You have to, when you go to a contact visit, you have to be stripped down naked. The cop is telling you to bend over, spread your cheeks, and cough. So how the hell was that a therapeutic component? It was therapeutic for a second and became traumatizing for the rest of that event. And now it's being re-traumatized because it's there to be consumed by the masses of the society that essentially say prisons are needed, and look at the amazing work that they're doing. Forgetting that one of those brothers went back for 30 years. Where's the support for that young lady now, knowing her father's gone for 30 years? Where's the support for him, knowing that he's going to be grappling with that forever, and may he even have to watch that episode from his prison cell? It's disgusting. That's my view on that. That shit is disgusting.
I definitely appreciate that. Chino, definitely please add if yeah.
Yeah, definitely, my brother. Unfortunately, right, when I grew up in the projects in Newark, right, like, going to prison was normal, right? It wasn't abnormal. Like, and unfortunately, that's something that society perpetuates, right? In Black and brown communities, right? Like in white communities, it's normal to go to college, right? It's normal to become a law enforcement. It's normal to become a teacher. But in Black and brown communities, unfortunately, going to prison has been normalized, right? For generations, right? So we got, brothers, we got fathers, we got grandchildren, we got uncles, we got like whole families in our prison system because we have normalized that, right? And so when I see documentaries like that, that does not tell the whole truth of the mass incarceration, right? How it destroys, like a lot of the people that come to our support group are not people that were inside the prison system. A lot of them are the daughters, the sons, the grandmothers, the wives that have experienced, right, mass incarceration. Because, what that documentary didn't show was that sometimes the kids are told, can you take your jacket off? Can you take your shoes off? So although it's not a full strip, it's dehumanizing, right? The kid like, why I gotta take my shoes off? Why I gotta take my jacket off? Why is this correctional officer going through my little purse? You know what I mean? Like with my candy and stuff in there. So it's like, they don't tell these. And so that to me, it does a disservice to society. And that's why we do the work that we do, brother, right? Because we want people to know, no, this is what goes on in our criminal justice system, right? We want to call it a criminal justice system because really there is no justice in our criminal justice system. But yeah, when I see documentaries like that, when I see movies that portray prison life, it really boils my blood because I know that prison does not foster family reunification. In fact, it destroys families, right? My brother, Tariq Witcher, who's my co-founder, I remember his daughter coming into the visit and, his daughter hugging him and correctional officer coming there, hey, you hugging too much, we're going to terminate your visit, right? And then at the end, like they literally had to be separated, right? And that creates anxiety, that creates trauma for a child. So yeah, definitely. I mean, that documentary did a disservice to the truth of our criminal system.
Saturday with Renee.